Hey gamers, welcome back. This week's interview is on twinking, and I spoke with Stabster, who has a level 40 twink. He shared with us a vid that he made, and I couldn't fit it all into the interview, so I did put a link for it in the comments area. We started off the interview by finding out what a twink is and how that is accomplished.
To keep it at a certain level so you can do multiple things that other characters can't do. Because if you're 10 levels above or whatever, then sometimes you can't get the drop, or the drop isn't as efficient. So by staying a certain level, you can, for example, I can farm Miss Main. I can make 100 mil, easy. Have to be disciplined, and you have to suicide your XP, and that takes time. So you just have to be disciplined in general when it comes to staying a specific level. You have to make sure that you don't go above that level by any means.
I think, I know actually a lot of people think that other people twink their tunes just so they can, you know, beat the living crap out of tunes that are the same level or lower.
Well, no, that's not the case. Just fighting 55s and 60s. It's not what people think it is, as far as killing lobies and people who aren't geared, because we actually wanted to target the people who were geared.
What about, like, aren't you curious about what comes next?
There is nothing. Once they say that I can't lose XP and they're gonna force me to level, I'm not going to be able to make money because I haven't touched the new instances, and I don't like pugs, and most of my friends are in top legions and statics, and I'm a solo player, which means that I do everything by myself without help. And you know, I plan to retire Stabster, and I like to PvP on my source, so my source was supposed to be endgame PvP, but I didn't want to level until I finished having my 55 Archon PvP accessories. But at first, it was so hard to grind platinum medals, and then with this patch, you only kill 10 mobs, versus you had to kill, let's say 100, because you had to have 20 drops. Well, now you only have to get 10 drops to get 1 platinum, and you can do that quest 4 times a day if you have both forts. So getting the platinum is easy, and then getting the AP, I work overnight, so I just don't have time to do dredging. So it's like, alright, well, I can't finish my source because, I work 6-7 days a week. I have 1 day off. It's like, I don't have time. So I rolled a gunner. Now my gunner is 50. He has no AP, can't do the 55 Sigma chain because, I don't have time to do dredge or anything. So it's like, well, what am I going to do? So I don't know. I'll probably just quit. I play another game called Planet Side 2, but, that's a first-person shooter.
You're right about playing solo and whatnot. You can play pretty much solo to the end of the 3.0 content, but the new patch is definitely not not a solo player type content for sure, which is the other interviews I've done. That something we all talked about was how there was a lot of solo playing that had gone on in 3.0, and now it's just not really something you can do in 4.0.
Yeah, like I saw people there. I seen a video where a spirit master soloed SO. I dueled it with a cleric on my source. Upper forts, same thing. You can duel trio, but all the new instances, require like an alliance, like Argent Manor.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I haven't even done Tiamat Stronghold.
No, me either. Well, no, I've done TS. I haven't done DLR, Dragon Lord's Refuge. I've never even seen the inside of that instance. Love to, but never have.
My assassin's like 3 bubbles from level 61. And another reason why I don't like going to endgame is it costs too much damn money to upgrade your character. If I upgraded to 65, the skills alone would probably make me broke.
The next patch, they talk about the prestige points. I don't think they're doing away with the AP. I think the AP will still be there for things like gear and whatnot. But as you move up, yeah, the blood marks are now what's used for PvP gear or the ceramium metals.
Speaking of that, what is your opinion on Alero being our current governor?
My opinion. Um, because I am still a firm believer in it's your game, play it the way you want. That's one side of it for me. And the other side of me, of course, feels like a lot of other people do that say, I wish you were here to help us out more, kind of thing, right? So it's kind of, for me personally, it feels like a double-edged thing, because otherwise I'm kind of going against what I believe, that everybody's entitled to play the game they want, the way they want. And really, the default would lie then more with in the way the game is set up for how they decide who should have that position. However, again, in 4.5, that will change, because it'll be prestige points that are used to decide who holds that title. And in order to get those prestige points, that person will have to be more involved in things such as sieges and whatnot. And I think, honestly, I just think that's a much more fair way to do it. Somebody who is out there and, where everybody can see that person and they're willing to sacrifice whatever to get, to get the groups together. It's because it's time consuming, right? It's time consuming to get those alliances up and to be there at a certain time in a certain place and to get the groups organized. That's very time consuming. And I think the person who's putting all the work into that should hold the title.
Well, it's actually the people who do the organizations would be like Vlad Arena and
Yep.
Karos.
Yep.
Before them, our leaders were Gigi and Domineer.
Mhm.
And this is back before Mortrude got banned.
Mhm.
Even, I think the most Asmodeans that we had at Siege during that time was 500.
Mhm.
And, the thing that killed sieging back then, before 4.0 and all that stuff, is that there was spies. And NCSoft had no way to prevent this from happening, but we had spies in our command vent.
Oh.
And even though the Elios knew where we were when we said we were going to be there, and they were able to flank us or whatever because the spies had
Right.
our location, we still gave them a run for their money,
Right.
and we still defended, and we went on offense, and we still took stuff, because this has been a true fact since day one. Asmodeans know how to PvP.
Hmm.
Elios, they have some good players, but the majority is just, I'm gonna bang my forehead into the keyboard and go side to side and hit skills. And then I'll two-shot you, you know. Elios have always had numbers. Now, I know that
Right.
during Korea, Asmodeans were the dominated faction. Nobody
Yes.
rolled Elios. And when NA dropped, the opposite happened. Everybody rolled Elios because they made Elios more favorited due to having world bosses and easier quests and easier campaigns and better loot and all that. They had Zapio's spear, which was the best fucking spear in the world. And I think we had like 6 world bosses and they had 12. So you could just see how all the Elios are favored. And then Trinio got merged with Zekel. And I remember the very first day it happened, Asmodeans, we were on command vent and we were talking about sieging that day. And the Elios outnumbered us at least 6-3.
Wow.
And the Elios took pretty much every single upper fort and one siege time. And we managed to take, I think, Asteria and Roa. And after that siege, everybody's moral went to poop, and everybody wanted to transfer off Sequel. And the main reason why I transferred to Israfel is everybody I know that was still playing went to Israfel, and Israfel still had a fighting chance. Till this day, it still has a fighting chance. If you look at the Tiamat forts, what do you see? You see 2 Asmodeans and you see 2 Elios. You go to other servers and it's either the Asmodeans locked the Elios out or the Elios locked the Osmos out. Israfel, I think, is more balanced PvP, even though that the Elios still outnumber us a great majority.
Just for people out there who are trying to get their PvP gear, regardless of what level, I know I've heard some people say get the biggest piece first, and other people say no, get your accessories first. What do you recommend?
PvP accessories first, because if you have no PvP attack, you could have a plus 15 weapon, but you're not reaching that weapon's potential. So PvP accessories should always be first, and then you have the option of your armor or you have the option of your weapon. If you know how to play your class, your armor should not matter. So if you have a good weapon and you have that 100% enchanted to its max ability, then a perfect example would be somebody in Fenris with full 50 PvP accessories and a full 50 elite weapon versus somebody in full 50 elite. I've seen people in full Fenris with just the 50 PvP accessories and a Fenris weapon and a 50 elite weapon murder people in full 50 elite whatever. So what I would do is accessories, and then if you have a good weapon, armor. If you don't have a good weapon, get a weapon and then armor. But gear does not equal skill. I'm
Right.
not able to solo at 40 because of my gear. I know how to use my character, I know how to weave, I know how to DPS to my max ability. I know how to dodge the attacks, like with Nuaka. You have to know when to Aether Twist. You have to know when to Focus Evade. You have to know when to Anti-Shock.
Hmm.
Because if you get stun locked, and then he spawns the traps, and then he spawns the AoE, that can drop me to half health in a split second.
Right. Do you think that the art of twinking is dying out now?
As far as Twinking dying, Twinking will never die. You can't say that Twinking does not exist, because if you ask anybody who has an alt character, they obviously have an alt character for a reason, and the majority of people do have a character mainly to do a specific role. Now, whether that role is crafting, gathering, soloing instances, PvPing, whatever it is, everybody has a character that uses a specific role. And the art of twinking is, I can do so much stuff on my 40 assassin that I can't do on any other character. So if I want a PvP, I can go PvP. If I want a PvE, I can go PvE. If I want to go solo a world boss, I can go solo a world boss. I can go on my cleric, you know, but I don't have nearly as much DPS as I do as on my Sin. And as far as I know, the new Twink is 60, because you can still do dredging, and you can do arena, and the level cap is 65, so being 5 levels under the cap, you still have a chance to kill somebody 65. But again, that's when skill and experience comes into play versus, oh my god, I got 350 elite, I'm gonna plus 15 and I'm gonna face roll my keyboard and kill you. It comes to skill and experience.
In this life that we make up, are you let down? Do you give up? Are you let down by me? In this life that we've made, this fake life that someone made up in their heads and gave to us. We all tried to climb up, but they throw rocks at our flesh. We all think the same shit. We all dream the nightmare, this fake world on a movie screen. We watch as our lives break up. But one day, if we stand up with a fake smile, we could wake up. The real world is just too much to take in for all of us. We all try to climb up, but they throw rocks at our flesh. In this life that we make up, are you let down?